enviable problem in San Antonio, where the Spurs have yet to figure out exactly what to do with Kawhi Leonard. Superstar talent, best two-way player in the league, doesn't want to be there, and is coming off a season in which he played just 9 games because of that pesky quadriceps injury. So there are a bunch of teams out there who have the option now of deciding to load up whatever they have in terms of assets to try to make a deal for Kawhi Leonard. Boston could be one of those teams. They certainly have the assets to do it. The question is, do you veer from the course you're on with all this great young talent in Boston, a team that came so close to the finals as it was, or do you use some of those assets to go after this superstar guy?
I think if you feel like you can re-sign him, I think you make a deal. And listen, what they did last year was incredible, absent Gordon Hayward, absent obviously having Kyrie down the stretch as well. And we all know how special a talent Jason Tatum is, and Jaylen Brown has proven to be a guy in his second year that made tremendous strides. But I think Kawhi Leonard is not just about you trying to secure your place in the East, but you also have to look at the competition. I think that gives them the best opportunity to dethrone a Golden State, to possibly beat a Houston team that's you would expect could continue to play at a high level. A Laker team now with LeBron that's going to continue to try to revamp, and it would allow you to keep Kawhi maybe from going somewhere else that could ultimately decide whether or not you win a championship.
Right.
So while you love that young talent, listen, they're still not at the level of Kawhi Leonard, and there's no guarantee that they get to his level. You're talking about a guy who was in the conversation as one of the 3 best players in the world. Mm-hmm. So that's something, if you're Danny Ainge, you have to look long and hard at. As much as you love your young talent, that Eastern Conference, like everyone thinks now that East is all about Boston, Philly's going to make moves to continue to improve. All these other teams that we're not talking about, Washington, Toronto, those teams are still going to be forces in that conference. It's no foregone conclusion while we all expect Boston to be there. They're coming in with a different mindset now. They're going to be expected to be the team. It's a little bit different when you have those high expectations on a young team.
Which would give you more pause? You're thinking about, trading away all these assets, be it draft picks or these young players. The quadriceps injury, which is no small thing, right. He's had it on both sides, 9 games last season, or the contract status where he can walk away for nothing next summer.
The contract status is first, and if I'm Danny Ainge, can I have that conversation I need to have before I make that decision, knowing that you don't want to talk to Pop. So that's what has my biggest concern, where when Carmelo wanted to leave Denver, he made it very clear, I'm going to be professional, I don't want to be in Denver. Kyrie, behind closed doors, talked to Cleveland, hey, I would like to be moved. Hey, Kawhi, can you please, Paul George, can you please tell me something? So now I'm being personal, I'm tired of hearing my camp this, my camp that. If Kawhi Leonard would have come out and just say, guess what, Pop, I want to be traded to the Lakers. And that's what I want to do. I'll stay professional. I'll work hard. I'm in shape, my legs together. Now, if I'm Danny Ainge, hey, Kawhi, if you really want to leave, can you have a conversation with me first? Yeah. This is how good Boston is. This is what I built. This is what I did for KG. Right. Now, I can sell Boston on you, but if I cannot talk to you, how can I make that move? That's a bigger concern to me. There's no communication there.
Well, for the moment, Boston has not made that deal. Neither has Philadelphia. So I'll ask you guys to look at the Eastern Conference right now, minus LeBron James for the first time in his career. And here's your power poll as things stand. You both have the Celtics on top.
Yep. I think the only thing we differ is just pretty much the order.
Yeah.
Same teams. Yeah, pretty much the same team. The order can change, who does what and which other big guys. But, yeah, unless they make – if nobody makes any move, I think Boston still come out east.
I think on paper – you know what, though? Let's not sleep on a Toronto team that, with their young talent, could be better next year. Now,
no LeBron, right? No LeBron.
No LeBron in their way.
They basically won 60 games.
That's right. That's right.
So I don't think I'm just going to anoint Boston just yet. And again, remember, Boston had home court, and as much as we raved about the talent of Jason Tatum, that young group was not a good road team in the postseason.
Right.
Nope. They won, I think, 1 road game this past postseason. That's not a championship caliber team. Like, you can't win it all if you can't win on the road in the postseason. And so that's another reason. And Danny Ainge's a smart guy. That entire brain trust there, they know that. Yeah, they should improve in year 2 or in the next year. But if you got Kawhi right, if he's mentally and physically ready, it'd be hard if you could put the deal together to not want to go out there. What happens if you're Boston, you hold Pant, and he ends up in Philly?
In Philly, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that Philadelphia team, which is top to bottom as talented as anybody in the conference, but looked really inexperienced in the playoffs, suddenly they're a lot more talented and a lot more experienced as well. Let's talk about the Wizards here a little bit, who appeared on both of your boards there. They got better today. Added depth to their roster with Jeff Green agreeing to a minimum $2.4 million deal to come aboard in Washington. Pretty good for the Cavaliers, mostly coming off the bench. Did start some, like everybody did, over the course of the season. And he was huge in that Game 7 on the road in Boston when he had 19 points. And they weren't done there because just reported by Jared Weiss, Dwight Howard, remember, was traded by Charlotte to Brooklyn, bought out by the Nets, is headed to the Washington Wizards, who, remember, traded Marcin Gortat this offseason as well. Dwight Howard is apparently about to become a Washington Wizard.
Well, hopefully very similar. We talked earlier about the Cousins situation, Jay. Maybe this buyout late in his career maybe humbles him a little bit. Now you get around John Wall and Bradley Beal, knowing that now the old Dwight Howard the last couple of years, you won the ball on the block. That's not who you are at this point in your career. And going with that backcourt, you're going to get less shots. But if the Dwight Howard comes rebounding, blocking shots, defensive-minded guy, I think he helps that team right away.
You know, they're the team in the Eastern Conference that has quietly made moves to bolster their biggest weakness, which was their bench. Jeff Green is if Jeff Green's coming off the bench for them, that really makes this a much better team. Remember Austin Rivers as well. Gives them a legitimate third option offensively. He can play either guard position coming off a career year. And then the thing about Dwight, a lot of times he's at a point in his career where the system matters in terms of his ability to be effective. And he's going to play with an incredible passer, two bigs. Because you think about how good Marcin Gortat looked playing with John Wall.
Pick and roll.
And he's a similar – they're going to score similarly. I just think even at this stage, Dwight's a little better at it than Gortat. And a better defender and rim protector. So this could be a big get. That's why I'm saying, like, the East, like Bradley Beal and John Wall, they also look at it like, why not us? You know, we're close as well. And now they've gone out and made some small moves, but they could have a huge impact on the overall roster.
You know, for